use these advanced English phrases to level up your vocabulary, confidence, and fluency in English. The first to go is put someone out to pasture. Now, what does it mean? Forcing somebody to quit their job because they have grown very old. Okay, they are forced to retire because they are not considered useful due to their advancing age or old age. For instance, you could say the old man was not ready to put out to pasture. Second phrase is a dime a dozen. It means very common that it's not considered as valuable, okay? Because it exists in large numbers, plentiful so as to be valueless, worthless. Something is considered as uninteresting, boring because they exist in large numbers or has become very common. For example, you could say plastic toys are a dime a dozen, have become a dime a dozen. Next is have your cake and eat it too. Have your cake and eat it too means two conflicting things cannot be together. Two incompatible or two opposite things cannot go together. This phrase also means that you are considering only the advantages or the pros of something without observing its bad parts or disadvantages. For example, marriage and affair cannot go together. For instance, you cannot have more services and pay less tax. Those are two conflicting situations. So it means that you cannot have your cake also and eat it also. Either you have to keep your cake or you have to eat it. Next is look like a drowned rat. It means to become very wet, seem to be very wet and miserable because you have been caught up in heavy rain. For example, he came inside looking like a drowned rat. Next phrase is get it in the neck. Get it in the neck means to be criticized or to be punished. For example, the coach got it in the neck because his team performed very badly or poorly. Next is move the goal post. It means success becomes difficult because someone changes the rules, someone changes the criteria or the requirements. For example, after I signed the contract, my landlord moved the goalpost by demanding more money. Next is dig deep. Now, this phrase has got three meanings. The first meaning is to use your money to pay for something, to use a whole lot of your money and resources to pay for something. For example, I can say, I had to dig deep into my pockets to buy an NRI bungalow. Okay. The second meaning is to do a deep and thorough investigation. The third meaning is to exert yourself into something mentally and physically. Okay. Next is face the music. It means face the music means you will be criticized or punished for something wrong that you did. You need to confront the consequences. You need to accept the responsibility for something wrong that you did. For example, after years of cheating the employer, the staff finally had to face the music. Okay. Next is off pat. It means you know something so well, so good, that now you can say something, you can do something, you can perform something easily without even thinking. Okay. For example, I know all my passwords off pat. Okay. Next is get the shaft. It means a harsh treatment, an unfair treatment, some kind of cheating is involved. For example, the tax system gets the shaft only for the poor. The rich becomes richer. Next is cut and thrust. It means competing and arguing and a great discussion. There is a lively competitive atmosphere or environment. Okay, for example, I enjoy the cut and thrust of participants in the debate competition. Next is hit the ceiling or hit the roof. It means to be very angry, to be very annoyed. Okay. For example, my dad hit the ceiling when he found out that I resigned. Next is watch your back. It means to be very careful of the people around you. Okay. For example, you need to watch your back because you have a lot of enemies. Next is be your own master. It means there is no one to control you and you can work the way you like. You can work the way you want. Okay. For example, the advantage of being a businesswoman is that you can be your own master. Next is to overstep the mark. It means you are doing something wrong, to upset somebody because you do more than what you should actually do. You are doing more which you should not do it. For instance, you overstepped the mark when you raised your voice at your mother, when you shouted at your mother. You overstepped the mark. Okay. So that's it all for today. For more grammar videos, homophones, synonyms, vocabulary, advanced English phrases, and error rectification, like, share, subscribe. Stay tuned, stay updated, stay healthy.